Hello everyone, this is Rick, and today we are in the part 3 of the Mesopotamian Civilization series. We have had two other sessions before, and there was part 1 and part 2 of the Mesopotamian civilization. So in order to understand this video better, please go through part 1 and part 2 in order to know a full detailed view of the Mesopotamian civilization. This video is based on the ICSE or CISCE board syllabus of class 6. You please carry a notebook with you while you see this video so that you can note down the important points. So let's start. In our last video, we have discussed about the geography of Mesopotamian civilization, the art and culture of Mesopotamian civilization, governance, law, business, trade, all these things. So today we will start with how all these things ended. How did Mesopotamian civilization come to an end? Hence, decline of the Mesopotamian civilization. Invasions by groups like Hittites and Persians weakened the city states. So, Mesopotamians had city states, right? We have discussed in part 1 of this video. So, there were city states, which means a city itself was like a state. It had its own governance, it had its own army, own business, agriculture, everything. They were self sufficient units. But these self-sufficient city-states were attacked by other groups like Hittites and Persians. They invaded the areas of Mesopotamian civilization and have hurt the people of those areas. Environmental factors: overuse of agricultural land and salinization of the soil led to decreased crop yields. Now, you must be knowing this. If we do farming on a plot of land year after year, then the capacity to produce good crops of that field will decrease, will slowly decrease. In the first year, the crops will be very good. In the second year, it will be good. In the third year, that quality of production will stop declining because the soil will lose its fertility. So that happens because of overuse of agricultural land. And also, salinization of soil sometimes lead to decreased crop yields. Salinization of soil means sometimes seawater used to enter the areas of Mesopotamian civilization through rivers or through different other kinds of water channels. And with that, the as we know that seawater is salty, so the soil also used to become salty sometimes, and because of that there was decrease in the production of crops. Internal conflicts among the city states further destabilized the region. So there were invasions from outside, and also there were problems on the inside. So, both from the inside and the outside, Mesopotamian civilization was having problems. Hence, there was a destabilization of the region. The city states like Babylonia, Ur, Uruk, all these city states used to fight among themselves and thus used to hurt each other, so that it became easy for the outside invaders to attack and conquer them. By 539 BC, Mesopotamia fell to the Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great. So, Cyrus the Great was one of the most famous Persian emperors, and by 539 BC, the whole of the area of Mesopotamian civilization was under the control of Cyrus the Great. Now, art and sculpture. How was the art and sculpture of the Mesopotamian period? Mesopotamian art often depicted religious and mythological themes. Just like today, also, you will see that art mainly revolves around religious themes, like art of Ramayana Mahabharata, art of other mythological figures, art of gods and goddesses. All these things are art which are related to religious themes. And also, there were many mythological stories which had its own depictions in art forms. Relief sculptures and statues were used to adorn temples, palaces, showing gods, kings, and legendary creatures. So there were relief sculptures and also statues which were used. Relief sculpture means sculptures on the walls of stone. So sometimes sculptures are not entirely 3D, but they are done by inscribing them on the stone. Those are relief sculptures. And also statues were used to adorn temples, to decorate the temples. We have relief sculptures and statues in Mesopotamia, and same things were there in palaces also, where gods were shown, kings and other legendary creatures were shown with the help of relief sculptures and statues. Common materials used included clay, stone, and bronze. So, what were the materials with which statues and sculptures used to be constructed? They were clay, stone, and bronze. Bronze is an alloy made by combining tin and copper. Innovations in transport and communication. So, what were the new things done by the Mesopotamian people in the field of transport and communication? The wheel. Now, imagine a world where there is no wheel, means where there is no round objects. Then you can assume that nothing will function properly. So, Mesopotamians were one of the first inventors of the thing called wheel. One of Mesopotamia's most significant inventions, initially used in pottery and later adapted for carts and chariots. So, wheel was the most important and significant invention of the Mesopotamians. They were used first in pottery. If you have seen a potter doing their work, you will see that on a flat surface, a wheel is there. The wheel is placed in a horizontal position and is rotated in great speed. Above that, the wet clay is placed, and while the wheel rotates, the clay also rotates along with it, and the potter uses their hand to make some beautiful pottery shapes. So, wheel was very important and initially used to design pottery, and later it was adapted for carts and chariots. Chariots, are carriages drawn by horse. So, it has wheels in it to match the speed of horse. So, therefore, wheel is very significant and it was used first for pottery and later for carts and chariots. Development of roads facilitated trade and military movements. So there were roads, and roads used to be constructed with great amount of engineering skills. It may seem like construction of road is very easy, but no, you will have to cut through the mountains also sometimes in order to construct a road. So there were proper roads in the Mesopotamian civilization, and through these roads, what used to happen? Trade and also military movements. The army, in case of emergency, sometimes had to move from one place to another, and they did that with the help of proper roads. Boats and river transport were crucial for moving goods along Tigris and Euphrates. So, in our first video, we have already stated the geography of Mesopotamia. It is a land between two rivers, and those two rivers are Tigris and Euphrates. Hence, trade used to be done along these two rivers, and in order to do trade or to transport goods through the rivers, we need specifically designed boats which are suited for the river currents. So, Mesopotamians also knew how to construct those boats which will travel and move goods along the rivers of Tigris and Euphrates. Mesopotamian medicine and health. So, in order for a society to survive, you need good doctors, and good doctors will treat the patients properly only with the help of proper medicines. So, thus, the society becomes secured in the field of health and medicine. Mesopotamians practiced early forms of medicine, often linking health to religious practices. So, the early form of medicine was religious. It basically was not totally practical, because religious worshipping a certain god may not give you some kind of health benefit. But Mesopotamians believed in religious entities to stay healthy. That was one of the earliest forms of medicine practiced by the Mesopotamians. Clay tablets detailed treatments for various ailments, blending herbal remedies with spiritual healing. Were the function of clay tablets? I have already discussed on part 2 of this video. Hence, in those clay tablets, detailed treatments were written, that if you have headache, what kind of medicine you are supposed to take, what kind of exercises you are supposed to do. If you have stomach problems, what kind of medicines and exercises you will have to do. All these things were written in clay tablets, and one clay tablet was dedicated to the use of one particular ailment. And there was also the concept of spiritual healing, which means meditating or worshipping in order to maintain a proper health. Priests often served as healers, combining their roles as religious figures with medical practitioners. So, priests were in the upper class of Mesopotamian society, and they were believed to have some kind of connection with gods. So, along with their role as religious figures or as religious heads, they also served the role of healers, which means role of mediocre doctors, and they practiced medicine in order to keep the people healthy or cure many kinds of diseases. Mesopotamian medicine included both diagnostic and therapeutic texts with prescriptions for treating wounds, illness, and fractures. Diagnosis means to catch the disease, to detect where the problem is. So, Mesopotamian medicines depended on how much you can detect a particular disease, and also therapeutic text with prescriptions. Prescriptions means the doctor will say what medicine you should take at what time. All these things were written properly, and they were used for treating wounds. If some person get hurt, then they will have a wound. So treatment for wounds were given, treatment of different illnesses were given, and treatment for fractures means misplacing or breaking of bones were also treated properly in the Mesopotamian culture. They understood the use of various herbs, plants, and even surgical procedures to address health issues. So, what was their mode of treatment? They treated with the help of various herbs and plants, means natural medicine, and also there were a limited amount of surgical procedures, means performing operations on the physical human body, and all these things were used to address various health problems. So, thus, Mesopotamian medicine and health is one of the most significant contribution of the Mesopotamian civilization. Mesopotamian law and governance. How was the law? How was the governance? Governance in Mesopotamia was a blend of monarchy and theocracy. Monarchy means where king will be the head of the state, and theocracy means king will be attached with some kind of divine power. So, king will be believed to have been a representative of God on earth. So, such was the system of governance in Mesopotamia, which was a blend of monarchy and theocracy. The king was seen as divinely chosen and ruled with the support of priest. So king was divinely chosen, means it was believed that God has appointed the king to rule over the people, and the king had support of priest. Now priests were very important because they were the upper class people and they had the ultimate religious authority, which means that people believe that priests have some kind of connection with God. Hence, if the king has the support of priest, then what will happen? The people will believe that the king has some divine right, divine right to rule over the people. Law codes such as the Code of Hammurabi set legal precedents for dealing with theft, property disputes, marriage, and criminal offenses. So, Hammurabi was the ruler of Babylon. He set he made a set of laws. There were more than 200 laws, and all those laws dealt with different kinds of crimes like theft, property disputes, laws related to marriage, and different criminal offenses. Rulers were responsible for maintaining order and justice, so the people could not do whatever they wanted, because the rulers were responsible to see that the society stays in order, means everyone should follow the rules. And also the ruler was responsible for delivering justice. They were the ultimate judicial authority, or the ruler was the ultimate judge, overseeing the construction of public works. Different public works like building of temples, roads, building of irrigation canals were done under the supervision of the ruler, and also managing resources like water for irrigation. Water was the most significant resource of the time because agriculture was the prime activity, and agriculture cannot happen without water. So, managing the water resources was also the responsibility of the ruler. Courts existed to resolve disputes with both civil and criminal cases being tried by local judges. So there were courts where all kinds of cases were dealt with proper by giving proper judgments. So there were two kinds of cases: civil cases, which means mainly means cases related to property, and criminal cases means cases related to different kinds of crimes. They were both tried by the local judges. However, punishments like death penalty or hanging of a citizen used to reside, that decision was to be taken by the king himself. Legacy of Mesopotamia. In this slide, we will discuss a summary of the entire presentation. Mesopotamia's contributions to human civilization were vast. So they had a lot of contributions to the human civilization, and we will see them one by one. The invention of writing, which is cuneiform writing, which laid the foundation for literature, record keeping, and government. So, writing was one of the most important feature of this civilization, because with writing came the system of record keeping, means keeping an account of things, and also it was the foundation of creative texts of literature. The development of legal codes that influence subsequent cultures and civilization. So there were different legal codes, means different rules and regulations for people, and those rules and regulations were followed by other cultures also in order to maintain law and order with strict disciplinary measures. Pioneering advancements in agriculture, urban planning, mathematics, astronomy, and medicine. So, all these fields had been contributed with the help of Mesopotamian people. There were advancements in agriculture, there were advancements in town planning or urban planning, mathematics, as we have discussed before, like base 60 number system, astronomy means movement of planets or stars. All these things were given great importance in the Mesopotamian culture. The construction of monumental architecture like ziggurats, which influence religious structures in later civilizations. So in later civilizations in various other parts of the world also, we find construction of structures like ziggurats. And so ziggurats are very important because it influenced other religious cultures as well. The civilization's decline did not erase its achievements, which continued to influence cultures like Greeks, Persians, and Romans. So, cultures like Greek culture, Roman culture, Persian culture, all these cultures came after the decline of Mesopotamian civilization. But they learned a lot from what the Mesopotamians did and implemented those things in their own civilization. Thus, even if the Mesopotamian civilization declined, its influence continued in other parts of the world. Mesopotamia is often referred to as the cradle of civilization, with its innovations forming the bedrock of modern societies. So, just like a baby, a human baby, when it is born, it is kept on a cradle. And from that cradle itself, it learns how to sit, how to talk, how to walk, and all those things. So, the foundation comes from the cradle. Like that, the cradle of human civilization is Mesopotamia. Means whatever humans have achieved in this world started from the civilization of Mesopotamia. Thus, Mesopotamian civilization have been completed according to your syllabus. Please go through all the videos, take notes, listen to your teachers, and also study well in order to perform better in your exam. Thank you so much for your love and support.